What's going on, everybody? My name is Linwood. Thank y'all so much for being here with me today. I hope you're excited because I am for the most impactful hour that you are about to receive in your entire life, full of energy, positivity, hope, excitement, gratitude, fulfillment, everything you possibly think of, man. So get ready, take off your shoes, pull up a chair, pull up a couple of shots, let down your hair, baby, because this hour will be the most impactful hour you've ever received in your entire life. I'm excited. I hope you are. Let's go!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is CeeLo Green, and you are now tuned in to Joseph Jaffe is Not Famous. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. He is not famous at all. Check out this new streaming show. It is perfect. And if you don't, fuck you.
Am I being overconfident? Am I becoming complacent about complacency?
I think you are.
Oh, he's not the Messiah. He's just a very naughty boy.
Yeah, I've got big ears.
Brian doesn't want to see anyone else. Piss off!
That's the one. Because you literally complete me, and we complete each other.
You've obviously encountered discrimination in your own life by virtue of being Australian.
Hey, Manuel Kemp was a real pissant who was very rarely stable.
I don't want to get too gushy, but I might just be saying you complete me, D. PNG now stands for Pritchard and Good.
Branding is not a bad blind date. Look at you! You are insane!
How did I do that?
You're
How
insane!
Did I do that?
You're insane!
Well, hello everyone. Welcome. That's my little John Oliver ripoff. Why not? It's not like he writes his own material. I'm just kidding. Glenn is here. He said, funny already. Well, it just goes downhill from here. Anna Bowman says that this is amazing. Stephen Rubin is watching, and I'm glad that you guys are here. It is a special night. Why is it a special night? Because it's another night. The second official night of Joseph Jaffe is not famous, but my next guest is very, very, very famous. Today is Don't Give Up the Ship. Oh, ship. It's Don't Give Up the Ship. And that was a bit of a dad joke. Why not? You know, as I said, my cardiologist said I could have only one glass of wine every night, and I make sure it's a really, really big glass. I need a bow tie. No, I don't, because I'm not Scott Monty. Stephen Rubin says you obviously hired a wardrobe manager. No, but I did realize that I actually do have a suit or two. And Billy is here. Billy Sanders is here, my ex-client from American Airlines and others. And in fact, I think I'm going to be interviewed by him on his wonderful podcast with Jay Bear. But let's get back. It's Don't Give Up the Ship. This is a day when you're not meant to give up. Don't give up. Why on earth would you give up? Why would you give up when you have maintained your weight without the Peloton, without the running, with a little bit of wine every day, but 182.9 looks like a bit of a roller coaster. And that indeed is the story of my life. It is a roller coaster. Harold Kravitz is here watching from Australia. It's also a roller coaster supporting Spurs, Mr. Harold Kravitz. And Sterling Solution says, dig in the haircut, an opening monologue. And Gabriel Heyman is here. Hello. And Diane Hessen too. I love Andrea Sullivan. Who doesn't? Don't reveal who my special guest is. But let's get on with it. It is 21 days, 3 weeks to the day when I undergo open heart surgery. Why am I so upbeat? I think I'm punch drunk for the most part. But 21 days to go. This time in 3 weeks' time, hopefully I'll be sleeping like a baby, but not sleeping with the fishes. And for those of you that have been following, it's been amazing. I went out and I tried to create a use case using my creator coin for people to be able to support me during this upcoming time. If you want to support me, just go to rally.io/creator/Jaffe. And here's what I did. I actually went out and created a whole series of campaigns or rewards that were all tied to the show. I wanted to make sure that if anyone was going to show support, they were getting something back in return. And so from beating heart to heart to heart to big heart to have a heart, a new one that I just put in is called Heart Transplant, for people that actually want to be the host of the show in the week leading up. These are all the people at the bottom that have stepped up and donated. I am immensely grateful to you. But one person in particular, in the dictionary, when they say mensch, it has to bring up Mr. David Berkowitz. David, you are all heart. You know, everything is public in the blockchain. And I will try not to get too emotional, but David donated $9,000 to me. And you know what? I don't want to continue to talk about David. I'm just going to bring him onto the show and say, David, what the hell were you thinking? Do you want it back? I'll give it back.
I know you would. You'd give me the very fancy shirt off your back, and clearly I could use one. But no. This is all you, and I'm looking forward. I can't believe what you're doing now going into this, and I just I want you to recover and stronger than ever. I don't know what you're going to do with more energy than ever coming out of this, but I can't wait to see it.
Well, you know what? I'm going to come back new and improved and raring to go. David, seriously, what were you? Here's the thing. You have demonstrated that you are a mensch. You've demonstrated that you are all heart. But what you've really bought in the process is an entire show that is created, crafted, molded, personalized, customized for your heart's content. Let's tell people what you intend to do with the show.
Well, what I'm so excited to do is work with someone who I've enjoyed collaborating with many times over the years. That's Mr. Jaffe, for those who couldn't quite figure that out, and creating a show for and by the community. And so now I guess I'm really on the hook for this. So tomorrow I can announce this in my serial marketers community and open this up to members there who want to be featured as part of this community showcase. And so we can have something that's really collaborative and crowdsourced within this community. I'm constantly looking for ways to provide value for members. You clearly get that you've gotten the value of community well before most, especially in that digital extension of it. And it's so wonderful to have yet another excuse to keep interacting with you and experimenting in public yet again, which is one of the things we've done for quite a few times over the past 15 or so years.
Well, we're gonna highlight amazing members of your amazing community. You know, the thing is, you are the community that you keep, or more importantly, you are the community that keeps you. And the CMO coin, which is your creator coin, the serial marketers community that you've built is I'm sure probably not an understatement to call it a family. And you are the patriarch. And you don't look a day over 35 years old. David, I want to thank you seriously from the bottom of my slightly flawed heart. And I cannot wait to do the show with you, and demonstrate the power of leaning in and first mover advantage. And sometimes, you got to fire and then ready and then aim. But, I'm going to make it worth your while.
Well, like I've told you, in my ideal world, maybe I'd have been more anonymous about it, but if it encourages a few others to go and check out your campaign, support you in any way that makes sense for them, then it's something I'm very happy to go and associate my name with and my community with, and I'm thrilled to just bring more of us into the fold and rally around you in so many ways. So it's always great to be here for you, Joseph.
Thank you, David. And if you feel like hanging around in the green room, go help yourself to some M&Ms, some virtual M&Ms, and come back afterwards when 6 Footer performs and Andrea's back on the couch and hang out with us. But I intend to make sure that when I'm done with you, You are the most famous David Berkowitz ever to live. So there you go.
High bar.
Thank you, my friend. Well, that's one hell of an announcement. I do want to share and remind people that 10% of the proceeds will go to the Mitral Foundation so that I can actually give back something to a foundation that I never knew existed before. Michael Donnelly says, great to see both of you grandpa patriarchs. Thanks for all you do for our industry communities. Well, thank you, everybody. But enough about the Love Fest. Let's focus on the show. On Joseph Jaffe is not famous. But my next guest is. My next guest is not Iron Man himself. We've had a bit of a standing joke in my family to determine who exactly I resemble with respect to these glasses of mine. And I couldn't quite place it. I love the compliment, but eventually I realized exactly it's Walter White. It's Walter White. Crystal meth is in my future, ladies and gentlemen. There is no question. I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. But now at least you know the look. It's called the Walter White Joseph Jaffe, WWJJ look. But as I said, my next guest is famous, very famous. Andrea Sullivan is the CMO of VaynerX's companies. And let me tell you, there isn't a single person that you talk to about Andrea. And we're going to call her Andrea, anything. But as long as you call her, her reputation precedes her. Everybody just talks about her and her contribution and what she does and how she does it, just absolutely glowingly. So she will be on shortly. And then our second official creator performer will be 6 Footer the Poet. And I cannot wait for her to perform one of her incredible poems. And she will be on soon enough. But let's just fire through birthdays. Raggy Thomas, Jackie Leventhal Friedman, Ed Kazmarek, my former client, Kraft Foods in Mondelez, my buddy, one of my best friends, Alon Hellman, aka Bet. Happy birthday to you. And finally today, Diane Epstein, John Jacobson, Neve Harrisman, and Don Tapscott. Hope you guys had an amazing day. Well, you know what? I'm itching to bring Andrea on. But first, it is time for our seated soliloquy. And today, the seated soliloquy is just aptly called, it is so relevant based on everything going on, it is called Creator. I attended a really amazing room last night in Clubhouse and was happy just to listen for over an hour. Just listen. Sure, I had to deal with one moderator who was trying really, really, really hard to convince us how awesome he was again and again and again. But hey, that's Clubhouse. The room was on mental health and creators. Now, I heard a really strong point, just incidentally, about us living in the post-colonization era as it relates to creators. This was defined as the colonizers taking what they want and in return giving us what they want as well. Put differently, they give us money and we're miserable in return. Sounds like some of my clients. In the past. There's more to be said about this particular topic, including, but not limited to, exploitation itself. Also, the whole subject of Naomi Osaka pulling out the French Open was discussed. These days, you can put the word creator in front or on the back of any title for maximum effect. It's in vogue right now. There's a real land grab going on for creators, and I'm a little concerned that amidst all the grabbing, there isn't going to be much left for the creators themselves. Anywho, not for the first time, the discussion on who is a creator came up. And the feeling expressed by the moderators was that anyone is a creator, from a moderator on Clubhouse to a salesy huckster sliding into your DMs, to a medical professional offering advice, to a venture capitalist, to marketers investing in content strategy. Now, I could not disagree more. And when I brought this up with one of the moderators on a back channel, she thoughtfully asked me what my definition was. So here it is. A creator is a person who produces or creates something from nothing, and that can be tangible or intangible. This is typically not their side hustle, but moreover, it is their life. Creators are predominantly, but not exclusively, artists. Creators are craftspeople. Creators are not synonyms for professions that pre-existed before the creator economy, like therapist, keynote speaker, or moderator, unless that title was creator. Singers, songwriters, poets, musicians, spoken word artists, tattoo artists, painters, NFT artists, comedians, glass blowers, coders, talk show hosts. Those are all creators. There's no monopoly, however, on creativity or being creative. Now, I absolutely believe anyone and everything can be creative in every aspect or facet of their profession, but let's stop confusing the two terms, creator and creative. Let's protect creators from colonizers and ensure they do not claim this as their own, because it isn't. And now it's time for our star attraction for our main event, Andrea Sullivan. A little bit of background on her. Skilled in growing global brands, building C-suite communities, unlocking high-performance cultures, and matchmaking the best clients with top talent. Andrea Sullivan is a professor, board member, industry speaker, and thought leader, and she's the first ever chief marketing officer at VaynerX. VaynerX is a global family of companies offering full service marketing services to companies, entrepreneurs, celebrities, and thought leaders. And it was founded by entrepreneur and inspirational speaker Gary Vaynerchuk, aka Gary V. But he is not the guest tonight. The guest tonight is Andrea Sullivan. Let's welcome her onto the show. And sorry for the long wait. That was just too much preamble. Andrea, welcome to the show.
I loved it. I was just sitting back. I can't believe the ground you've already covered, and we're only 17 minutes in.
You know what?
Thank you.
Because this is my show, I get to make sure that I can extend it if I need to by a few minutes, because I don't want to even, deny people that are watching and tuning in for you even 1 minute of your brilliance. Hilton Barber is here, and he said Andrea is a rock star, and I'm sure and so many people, as I said today, I was in a room in Clubhouse, and and everyone was just talking about you and excited. So let us get on with the show. And Andrea, we always do a very quick little preamble now with so many moving parts. I got to move through it really quickly, but I will not stop until I have revealed fun and even embarrassing facts about you to all and sundry. For example, people, did you know that, now I don't even know if I got this right, by the way. Did I get it right? Because you're a Camino of Santiago fanatic. Is this the right, did I get it right?
You got it right. You got it right.
So we will reveal shortly what you're actually doing in this very badly retouched photo. But tell us about Camino of Santiago.
So I can't believe you got this photo. I don't know who you know. But,
exactly.
You've got your secret somewhere. No, the Camino de Santiago is just an incredible adventure for those who are interested in exploring who they are as people. So it takes 6 weeks to travel from southern France across the northern part of Spain. I've only done 3 weeks of the Camino, so it's going to, and I did that over 3 years, so it's going to take me 6 years to accomplish it. Many people do it in one go, but you backpack, you meet people from all over the world as you go. You stay in little hostels. Life is simple and good and mountainous, and I get called Andrea everywhere I go.
So I think for the rest of this of tonight, I'm going to call you Andrea.
And I will love you for that and many other things, Joseph.
My very poor Italian. For some reason, I became Italian. Andrea, ciao. So I know I got that right, but I have a feeling that I got this wrong, because we found out that you were a board junkie, and I've got a feeling maybe it's a different kind of board. I get that, but I mean, this is amazing. United Nations of New York. Ad Council, the Miami Ad School, we.org, Creative Spirit, they do have one thing in common, and it's not, wood or I don't know, perspex or whatever they use to make those surfboards. Each one is absolutely vested in and invested in teaching, in mentoring, in helping, in making a difference. Looks like we have two mentors here, David Berkowitz and yourself.
And all that you and David have done to get us to rise up to be better humans. Congratulations. I'm blushing with all the things that you're revealing, but you guys have really set the tone, and you're bringing us into the future. So thank you for including me today, of all days.
But now that you're a bored junkie, can you get bored of being a bored junkie?
You can, actually, you can. And the important thing is that you keep mixing things up all the time. And so, yeah, I like to make sure that I'm constantly involved in things that are solving big picture problems, but then getting in the weeds as well. And education definitely runs through everything that I'm a part of.
It is probably one of the most common, powerful common threads for me, which is this idea when I realize whether I've been speaking, whether I'm, doing the show, even teaching, it is teaching. It is ultimately getting so much joy of being able to not just teach, but it's more than that, right? It's inspiring, it's making a difference, it's leaving a mark, it's planting a seed, and then, maybe decades later, seeing this beautiful, giant, magnificent oak tree that sprouts up as a result of that inspiration.
I think it's so right. I think the other thing is I'm starting to get tired in the world. And so I'm hoping that there'll be others that come and bring their inspiration and their energy. And I can certainly tell you, I'm a professor at the School of Visual Arts. And we did a whole focus on Gen Z this year. And oh my goodness, such energy, such commitment, but such accountability, making sure that companies walk the talk and all of those kind of things. And so God bless. I think Gen Z and all of those around them, their parents and other generations that they influence are hopefully going to become better people as a result of all that they believe in and all that they do.
I love it. Change comes from the grassroots, and it comes from, that entry level, right? Being at the rock face. I would be remiss if I didn't show people where the actual photo comes from. This is where it comes from, and now that is courage. We'll talk about courage and bravery, etc. This has got to be courage and bravery, I think.
This is on a trip that I did with We, which is an organization that helps communities in places like Kenya, Ecuador, all over the world, in building schools. And as a part of it, we went out into the jungle. And yes, I was challenged by my husband, who you can see behind, to kiss this giraffe. And by the way, I wouldn't recommend it. They're a little nasty, and they have very long and disgusting tongues. So I'll just leave it at that.
And it is at that moment where we will put a little pin in it, and we will try never to revisit that story. But this show is about hope, positivity, and optimism. And if there's time left over, a little bit of marketing. But I want to get straight into the little bit of marketing, because you sit in this enviable position, working really, really closely with perhaps one of the arguably, maybe inarguably, one of the most visible, vibrant, vivacious leaders, which is Gary Vee. But I want to talk about you as a marketer and as a marketing leader. And there are a bunch of things to talk about, but in particular, this Forbes article, I think, just came out. And it's called, I like it, the CMO's new MO, how Andrea Sullivan, CMO of VaynerX, is helping marketers lead with speed, honey, and no bullshit. We can say that because, we're late night Jaffe at the moment. So I would love for you to set up this article. And then you've also put together this really, really insightful piece that talks about marketing lessons that we've learned over the last year and a half. Because right now, as we open back up, as we go back to work, are we going back to normal? And even if we do go back to a sense of normalcy, hopefully things are very, very different and forever changed. So I would love for you to set this up, speed, honey, and no bullshit, and then we'll get into your article.
Well, thank you. Yeah, no, I think that we're in a really critical time as we're graduating into something. We don't know what it is, right? But this article, as you said, just came out today, and it was interesting to reflect on something that we had offered up to our community during the past 14 months or so, called Marketing for the Now. So we built a community that brought together business leaders, culture shapers, professors, students, and we covered all kinds of themes throughout the pandemic. And I think our hope is that we are going to be able to take some of the lessons learned and really celebrate them as we do graduate into this next chapter. And so I think what we all found was that the need for speed is absolutely real. And if you aren't able to move with speed and truly understand where your audiences are and to meet them where they are, you're not going to be relevant. And so this was a really challenging moment, I think, for so many corporations in particular, large and small. And there wasn't anybody that didn't have to change in some way, shape, or form. And so I think that need for speed is something that we could help in leaning in and teaching people how they could do things like removing fear from their organization, trying to get rid of some of the bureaucratic nature, especially of larger organizations in marketing, where they have approaches that are very sort of top down, thinking that they know what's best for their customers, for their employees, and perhaps not listening enough. And I think, Joseph, I love the fact that you bring this positivity to the show. And our sense is that the more people listen, the more you can bring the positivity and bring everyone along with you.
So the need for speed, and it's not just speed to market, it's also speed to action, it's speed to decision making, it's speed to it's decisiveness as well. That's number one. But number two, and I think I love how you just call it, like you said, an intolerance for bullshit. This actually came up even I have a room that I do in Clubhouse once a week. That we're not even afraid to say it. We got to say it now, which is like, we got to stop the crap. We got to keep it real. And just let's get on, jobs to be done. So talk a bit about intolerance for bullshit.
Yeah, so there is no way to hide anymore that if there are companies that are out there claiming that they're doing something and they're not acting on it, then they're going to be called out, and they're going to be called out big time. And so I think that this year was one where we not only had kind of the revolt from our customers when they smelled bullshit, but certainly our employees as well. They don't want to work for organizations anymore that don't stand for something, that don't celebrate the human values that they subscribe to. And so they're going to call people out. And now that the marketplace is opening up again, there are options. They can go and work at different places. And so this intolerance for bullshit is real. And I think it's just going to get even more real as we go into the future.
There is something that actually, funnily enough, came up in the room today where someone spoke, and I referred to him. I said, when you open your mouth, honey comes out. And I called him the beekeeper, and then he said he was pissed off with me because he said, like, you've set me up now with a bar that is so high. But in this article, you talk about your company being a honey empire, and it struck me because we all talk about purpose and we all talk about foundations and anchoring, but culture is just you can't fake authenticity, can't fake a rotten culture. What is it to build an empire made out of honey, a honey empire?
Yeah, and culture is everything for us at Vayner, and I think frankly anywhere, right? And so what Gary did when he launched Vayner 11 years ago was he really subscribed to a lot of the family values that he grew up with. And he applauds his mother for giving him the empathy to really be able to understand where people are, and to be able to make sure that he's creating a place where people can show up as their whole selves. And so we hire a lot of people that are not from marketing. They're from They are the true creators that you talked about earlier, and they feel oftentimes like they're a fish out of water. And so in order to create a very vibrant place to be able to create and to be able to deliver, work that is extremely close to culture, we have to have a safe place. And so that means that people can fail, that they can explore, but they have a place where they can trust one another. And so that honey is very, very important. Traditionally, we've focused a little bit more on the honey than we have on the empire, which is more of the commerce. And we're trying to actually get a little bit better at that, and doing some things that will help people to be able to coach and provide radical candor and all kinds of things in order to make us all better at what we do.
Well, listen, I for one don't have a problem at all with scaling honey or building an empire, because as we know, and you know what, I have impeccable sources. The Bee Movie with Jerry Seinfeld is that without bees, the world basically withers and dies. So we need more honey. So build the empire, build it strong, and build it filled with only sweetness. That is the safe place, in the safe space. There's a lot of reluctance, Andrea, about going back to work for people now. There's a lot of fear, but the word safety, I think, takes on an even more poignant and an important context now. It's not just about safety in terms of safety from coworkers, from bias, from prejudice. It's also safety in terms of respecting, I think, mental health. I mean, we just, as I referred to Naomi Osaka pulling out of the French Open. How does mental health play a role in the company in terms of how you manage employees, especially going through such crazy times?
Yeah, I think this really tested and tests all of us, our ability to be able to provide people the support that they need. And so we've tried to really do a lot of different kinds of things in order to connect with our employees and to better understand what is it that we can be doing to make sure that we're not just working everyone to death, and that we're, allowing people to be able to have the space and the outside support that they may need to be able to flourish. One of the things that we've done is we've had to go back and not only encourage people to take time off. We have an unlimited vacation policy, but what we were finding is people weren't taking time, particularly during these past 14 months. And so we had to actually have managers go back and enforce people to take that downtime. We've also started up a daily show. So we've taken some inspiration from you, Joseph, and we have a 15-minute pause each day. We have a show that's called VaynerX's Voices at 1:37 p.m. So every day at 1:37 p.m., we bring on a surprise guest, and nobody knows who that guest is going to be. Sometimes it's an employee talking about their hot sauce side hustle. Sometimes it's a celebrity that is, will perform for us. Sometimes it's someone that's coming to speak about mental health and providing, some different guidance, resources, things like that. And so every day from 1:37 to 1:52 p.m., we get that little bit of inspiration, and then we've got like 8 minutes to be able to go and do something other than work. So it is mandated that no one is allowed to schedule meetings, including client meetings, during that time. It's just a small thing, but we were realizing that having just the serious conversations about things is one thing, but also just giving a little bit of levity is also important. And our as we grow, we're growing quite a bit this year, growing globally. Everybody chimes in and they're throwing chats and emojis and throwing smack at one another during that time. And so it's a nice way to feel like you're still together and you're still part of a culture who cares during a time when we all feel a little bit or we have felt lonely, certainly at times. And we need to feel like we're all a part of something that's doing something bigger in the world.
And I'm just getting word from my imaginary producer, who just spoke to my imaginary agent, that we have waived all speaker fees should you ever want a non-famous talk show host to come in at 1:37 p.m. So we're just letting you know.
It's so funny. I was just going to hit you up for that. So I'm glad that we have that mental telepathy that's going on right now.
The imaginary contracts have all been signed.
Excellent.
But number 3, which is so much connected to this, and by the way, I almost see like a 2B, right? We had 2A, which is intolerance for bullshit. 2B is this idea of fun and being able to let your hair down. But number 3 is empathy, and it's a word that has come up so many times on the show with 260 previous guests. What is your interpretation of the value of empathy?
So the empathy is absolutely everything. I don't think that we can do our jobs as marketers, as leaders, as parents, as human beings, if we're not empathetic. But I can honestly say I've never worked in an organization that really lives empathy at scale. It's one thing to be in a smart startup or a small organization, but to feel like you're actually working in a real family that cares about you and listens to you and grows with you is absolutely phenomenal. And it does start with Gary, but we're now 1,500 people strong. So, it's not the small startup that it once was. And, now that we're global as well, taking that into new cultures geographically is also very interesting. So we're pretty proud of it. And we think we're hopefully connecting with our clients in a way that gives them that gift of empathy so that it keeps on giving.
Well, we have purpose, we have fun, we have culture, we have empathy, and then there's the embracing of difference.
Yeah. And so I think that, gone are the days where you're trying to just come up with a single big idea that's going to resonate with people. I think this year, if anything, we realize that the world is somewhat broken. And the systems that are in place need to be rethought. And so we need to acknowledge the differences that are out in the world and the needs of different audiences. And so we think that that's very, very important as you're looking at whatever it is that you're creating in terms of marketing, but also in terms of how you're interacting with all of your employees as well.
And then finally, the importance of always staying agile, never standing still, moving quickly.
Yeah,
Talk a little bit about agility.
Yeah, I think that if we've learned anything during this time, it's that, yes, it's important to have a plan, but maybe we should be sketching it out a bit in pencil and knowing that it's always going to be moving and changing. And those that are not agile are going to go by the wayside. And so I think that retooling, rethinking how we're organizing our talent, what is the technology that we're embracing, and how are we going to continue to make sure that we're moving at speed has been probably the most important thing at the center of all that we talk about.
One of the things that's so important clearly is the ability to, as you say, to change course, to course correct, to learn, and to bounce back so much wiser. And it's a good opportunity to segue into a conversation on NFTs, on the launch of VFriends. And in particular, I love how you sent this to me. Ladies and gentlemen, what the are NFTs? You see, we even have our own little sensor, WNBC. This is a fantastic article. And you know what? I have just been thinking to myself, what the are NFTs? I just thought I'd figured out crypto, but there's something special happening here. And I would love for you to talk about your vision, how you see it as a marketer in terms of what NFTs means for the future of marketing and future of brands. And then we'll get into this like rabbit hole, which is VFriends, because once you get sucked into it, there's no coming back. I want them all. I want to collect them all. And then I realized I was like, that's going to take many more mitral valve prolapses and David Berkowitz gifts to afford it. But tell us about NFTs. What are they? What the are they? And why should we care?
So if we want to look at just the pure definition of NFTs, it's a non-fungible token. So to your point, what does that mean? And essentially, I think the most important thing to recognize is they are going to fundamentally revolutionize almost every industry as we know it, including our own, including marketing. I don't think that brand marketers have woken up to this one iota. I think we're just starting to grow and learn. And certainly for creators, I think a huge opportunity to finally break down some of the things that have prevented creators from getting their due in terms of compensation and recognition and ownership and all those kind of things. And so I do not pretend to be an expert on NFTs. We are trying to just keep up with Gary as he has launched a very successful business virtually overnight with VFriends, but with great fanfare. And I think that what we're recognizing is that there's great potential for marketers to be able to not only authenticate all of their creative and sort of digital assets, but also their physical assets, their experiences. We can take this show right now, Joseph, and we can NFT it. We can create future experiences that people buy into that allow us to build communities, but also allow for people to be able to continue to trade against the ownership of whatever it is that they've purchased. So huge opportunities to be able to celebrate, ownership, but into the future. And I think VFriends is a great example of that.
Now, they're about, first of all, my personal favorite because, my son's name is Jack, and so I love Jolly Jack O'Lantern. And, what's so interesting about it, these VFriends, by the way, is very talented guy in terms of his drawings. It was kind of like just fun losing myself watching him do all these doodles, but it's not frivolous. It's access. That I think the three categories are access, admission, and gifts. And what he's done is he's really created, I think, it's almost like trading cards, but digital trading cards with a public history, tradable trading cards by definition, and useful ones, not unlike what I'm doing with my GoFundMe on my creator coin. But these cards have value in terms of I don't know, playing board games with Gary, to one-on-one time, FaceTime, being able to attend VCon, which is his a big conference coming up, and I feel like he's just getting started.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the fascinating thing is that he was able to create these 268 characters in 4 days. Now, he has a history of doodling and as an artist, and I think that's something that not everyone knew. So he has been sort of a quiet creator in the background. But all of these characters also exhibit the human traits that he celebrates around things that are, that you celebrate as well, Joseph. So it's all about optimism, things that will give people joy and happiness and hopefully the success that they want. So the names of the characters are, have a fun little twist to them, but they all exhibit some form of empathy, I would say, at their core. And he then minted 10,255 tokens based on these 268 characters. And to your point, all of them have a smart contract associated with them, which means that you get not only that piece of art or that token, but you get an experience that's in addition. All of them offer a ticket to VCon, which is going to be this unbelievable conference that brings together all kinds of creators and entrepreneurs and celebrities. And by the way, if you go the first year and you decide you don't want to go back the second year, you can flip it. You can flip your token. He'll get some of the proceeds. He's also donating money to charities with each and every one of the purchases of any of the tokens. But only to say that that it's easy to then continue to find the value and to be able to flip it and share it with the community if that's something that you decide.
I want to just touch on, and hold on a second. Again, the imaginary producer is now saying, Joseph Jaffe, is not famous and will waive all of his speaking fees to speak at VCon as well. So, I mean, you've hit the jackpot. You've hit the no.
I feel like I'm just shopping here on this show.
Shopping. We're gonna end. I love the fact that the show is being NFT'd.
We're gonna make that happen.
There are two aspects to, I think, this launch that I've been paying attention to. The one is there were a lot of learnings along the way. I mean, who knew what gas fees were? And I didn't even know what they were, and I still don't quite know what they are. But the thing is, I heard Gary talking about it with so much passion and authenticity. And you know what? Thing about Gary is if he's going to learn anything, if he's going to make any mistakes, he's going to make them before anybody else in the world does, certainly his competitors. That's what I took away from what he was saying, which is I learned, and guess what? I didn't just do the learning. My community learned. We all learned together, and we come back and we bounce back stronger. That was the one thing. The other thing is this is very much visualizing an outcome. It's not dissimilar with me calling myself a talk show host. VCon isn't a dream. It isn't an idea. It isn't scribbled on a napkin. It is now very, very real because he's made it real. And once you manifest it and put it out there, you only have one path, and that is just do it and make it the greatest conference in the world. And I just think like those are the two things that I took away, which is we need more of that. We need more, courage to be able to say, we're on a path, we're burning the boats. It is whatever it is. Don't, ride the ship, sink the ship, whatever the hell that day was. But that's what we need. We need to burn more boats, not bridges, but boats.
No, well said. Well said. No, I think that's one of Gary's secret superpowers is to really take advantage of what's going on right now and to be the utmost of practitioners in doing whatever that is. And so people ask him all the time to look into his glass ball and predict what's going to happen in the future. He'd much prefer to talk about what's happening right now in culture and what we should be doing about it. And so, yeah, when he started to learn about NFTs, he quickly said, see you later. I'm going to go off for 3 weeks and really explore what's possible and to become, the practitioner. And they worked day in and day out and were able to stand up a business, a formidable business in those 3 weeks. And to your point, I think the other ambition was to really be able to provide access to people that wouldn't have wanted to learn about NFTs and wouldn't have been able to benefit even financially from some of these opportunities if it wasn't for Gary sharing a little bit more information. His community is one that hasn't typically offered things that people could engage with or buy. And so this was an interesting moment where people that wanted a piece of Gary's world and an experience attached to it could actually make it happen.
I absolutely love it. And I just wish him and you and the company only the best of fortune, as you go and blaze a trail for the rest of us, because we're all paying attention and we're all learning and we're all realizing that IP and our IP, especially as creators, it is worthwhile, it is worth it, it is valuable, and please let him know that we thank him for putting the economy into creator economy. Andrea, before you go, and you're not really going, you're just going to take a little break, go pour yourself a glass of wine. Because you are Andrea at the end of the day, as we introduce 6 Footer. But before we do that, I always have a quote, and this is the quote that I found for you, which I really loved. It's everyone gets Bitcoin at the price they deserve. It made me think of the bulls and the bears make money, and the pigs get slaughtered. That if you are in it for the long, run, if you're playing the long game, if you truly believe in relationships and in the power of endurance, being a marathoner, not a sprinter, as it relates to marketing, then hopefully you will get the price you deserve. And that is a price that will endure and be the rising tide that floats all boats.
Well, thank you so much, Joseph. This has been absolutely, I can't believe that how the time is flying. By the way, David Berkowitz is still with us too.
Yeah, he's gonna come back, and we're gonna look. As I said, this is my show, and because it's my show, I can extend it for a few moments. Andrea, just before you do go, just to remind people, marketing for the now. Forget about tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. You want to market in the now, and you want to market for the now. Please go and check out this wonderful, wonderful series. Which, by the way, and let's see if I got this right. Marketing for the now is let's just see, just celebrated its 1 year anniversary, and you've had 200 plus guests. You've got a little bit of catching up to get to me, but it's okay. But your guests are very famous. will.i.am, Alex Rodriguez, Mark Cuban, and I'm sure many, many more. So please go and check out this wonderful series, and you can connect with Andrea on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Twitter. Find out more about the Honey Empire, how you can be a board junkie, and most importantly, check out and join the Gary V NFT train at vfriends.com. Andrea, hang out in the green room and hang out with David, and we will see you shortly.
Can't wait. Thanks again, Joseph.
Oh, thank you. It was absolutely my pleasure. Well, we're going to do one thing. Oh, I think that's what I wanted. Yes. We're going to do one thing, which is in between, as we move from our guest to our creator, we're going to start off with a few correspondents. One of those correspondents, you've come to love. He's apparently even watching tonight, and it's way beyond his bedtime. Tom Morris came to me as one of my guests on the show, and he's become, he calls me like a brother, like a younger brother, but to me is a bit of a father figure. He is the world's happiest philosopher. He's a double PhD from Yale. He taught at Notre Dame, and he's going to be delivering a small little snippet of philosophy once a week, contemporary philosophy that has meaning, relevance in today's terms. This is Tom with his first installment.
Hi, I'm Tom Morris. I saw a beautiful picture of a waterfall today, and it reminded me of some Chinese philosophers who have an image of moving water that they use very well. When moving water encounters an obstacle, it goes over it or around it or under it. It sometimes nudges it aside, out of the way. The obstacle creates the way, a new way. And yet, when there's literally no way, the water pauses and becomes a pool or a pond or a lake and waits until the time is right again to move on. These same wise thinkers ask us a question: what's stronger, water or stone? When many of us hear that question, we think, wait, what? How can you even ask that? I mean, stone is heavy and dense and massive and hard, while water is just liquid and soft. But we all know that dripping water can eventually cut through stone. The drops together, repeated and relentless over time, have an unexpected power. So can our own actions in the world. Sometimes we flow, sometimes we dribble, but it all adds up. So the lesson here is simple: be like water.
Be like water, and if you can't be like water, then be like 6-footer. I am so excited to have her on the show, and I was looking at her bio and her background, and unable to be overlooked. She is unable to be overlooked, and that's partly because she's 6 feet in height, but she may as well be 60 feet in stature. As a young girl, she had feelings of being lost in the world. She was inspired by Maya Angelou's ability to use words so beautifully that she seemed to transform and transcend many of life's painful experiences. One of her kind of notable moments was when she wrote a heartfelt poem chronicling the relationship between herself and her mother. And she's been outspoken against tobacco. She's become a motivational speaker. But she's going to kind of flip the script a little bit today. And first of all, let's welcome her 6-footer. Welcome to the show. And as you come off mute, because, let me tell you, no poet that is on mute. I mean, I'm sure you'd be better than most poets even on mute, but you're going to, first of all, welcome.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And you're gonna kind of flip the script a little bit, because you're going to perform Baby Girl, which is a poem dedicated to your daughter. So you know what, without further ado, I am going to disappear into the background, and I'm just going to let you do your thing. So take it away.
Hold your head high and walk straight up, for you are blessed and this is not luck. Baby girl, I don't want you to confuse the two. I want you to use what God has instilled in you to guide you. I want you to know where you come from, a land of kings and queens and all those beautiful things, ivory and gold. Our story has been sold, yet never told, to little girls like you, who have been brought up to think that this world is bitter, black, and blue, bitter from all the things that their mothers have been through, and blue, thinking that beautiful things don't happen to little girls that look like you. And black, well, let's just be honest. This world seems to lack the fact that everything beautiful comes from black Africa. They can't stand it, so they copy, imitate us, but it looks sloppy. In the words of someone from the hood, yes, baby, they are jocking implants in their hips and butts to look just like us. But I do recall them putting our ancestors on display for being built this way. And baby girl, your hair is not nappy. Because of it, I can get a little bit crafty, give you braids and twists and knots and locks. Because of it, you can wear hairstyles that they cannot rock. Because of the texture of their hair. See, on the flip side, they will make fun of you, and I know it isn't fair. How do I know? Because I've been there, been made fun of because of the color of my skin, how it's not like theirs, been laughed at because of the texture of my hair, even the clothes that I wear. Baby girl, I'm only telling you these things because I care. This world isn't fair, and I want you to be well aware of what's out there. I don't want you to try to change the color of your skin or the texture of your hair so that it looks like this. I want you to learn to love who you are made to be. Because of you, I am able to love me. Because of you, I am able to see the beauty that God has put in you and given to me. You are an angel from above who I will always love. You are a queen before a king. You are smarter than what they say. You are stronger than what you think. And because of me, you're bound to be at least 6 feet. You are wiser than what they know. So hold your head high and let your glow show. Walk with grace. And no matter what they say, make them look you in your face, because you are born a winner. So don't let no one take your place. And never, never, baby girl, I do mean never, answer to anything less than your name. You are not Leah Patrice Bunkley, but 6-footer is what y'all can call me.
Oh my God, amazing. See, I'm bringing, let me tell you, Johnny Carson would invite the performers that he liked to his. I'm so inspired by you that I'm trying to even talk like you, because I love the way you sing. You're a poet, but you sing. You just exude emotion. Let me tell you, not only are you invited to the couch, you can have the couch, as far as I'm concerned. That was amazing. And I brought back David, and I brought back Andrea as well. Guys, what did you think of that?
Wow, I was stopping when this was just a marvel. I can't believe, like, I thought it was a big enough deal that I was going to be on the same stage as Andrea, but what? Like this right here, that Joseph, this is like a career highlight right here, just to be in the same video screen as 6-footer.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
And I just loved how you just came leaping out at us, and you just brought us in and up. And I love to both their points about your ability to have that sing-song intonation, and so many stories packed into just a gorgeous little package with a bow.
Thank you. I appreciate you both.
So I have to say that a lot of comments coming in, but acknowledge my wife who said amazing, wow as well. I haven't. I've been excited about doing the show, but the thing that has brought me the most joy is to bring not performers but creators onto the show. Instead of talking about it, just celebrating. I've got a four-pronged approach, which is celebrate, elevate, compensate, and advocate. And you've got one hell of an advocate in me, 6 footer.
Thank you.
I want to ask you a question, and then I want to see if Andrea and David have a question as well, which is, that wasn't just a poem dedicated to your daughter. That was fire. That was advocating on behalf of your child. I feel as a parent, every one of us needs to have that fire for our children. And we need to express that fire no matter how. It may not be in poetry. It may be something or somewhere else. How have people reacted to that connection with your daughter, specifically as parents?
As parents, because, well, this particular poem I've done at elementary schools, junior highs, high schools, college, churches, every platform, actually. I've done this even in a courtroom. This particular poem has gotten a response. And the crazy part about the poem is I wrote it like my mother was talking to me. And then I found out I was having a little girl. So it ended up me just pouring it into my daughter and dedicating it to her, because this was the space that I needed to be in. And I just don't want my daughter to grow up with the same insecurities as me. And that's why when you read the bio, I started off with like being in a space where I didn't know who I was. So I just want to make sure that I instill this into my daughter and other little girls. So parents, they keep taking the poem because it's on YouTube, and they let their kids hear it, and I have it on DVD. So they love it, and they want their kids to listen to it over and over. And every nationality has fallen in love with that poem. And
I'm sure every nationality has fallen in love with you as well. I have one more question for you, and then we'll see if David or Andrea's got a question. But what's next for you? What is the rest of 2021 look like for you? Are you going on tour as the world opens up again?
I've been on tour. I've been on tour during COVID. Nothing has stopped really for me. I still am hosting workshops for the youth. I have several contracts throughout the state of California where I work with different schools, different counties. I am a mentor for our youth. So I'm teaching them how to write a workshop, write poetry, basically spill their art out into paper so that they don't resort to alcohol and drugs and tobacco. I am also an advocate for no tobacco. Out here, I work with African American, wait a second, AAC. Okay, look, I'm a part of the coalition, the African American Coalition Against Tobacco. I'm right now doing a bunch of workshops with the public health department with summons. I got conferences coming up. I just did a commercial for the No to Tobacco. We're fighting against Senate Bill 793. I just did CBS News while we were the whole thing of getting it passed, telling my story with me and my mother. I am doing tour with America's Got Talent winner, Brandon Leak. I got videos getting ready to get released. Hopefully my book will be done by the end of this summer. I got a lot going on. I have a lot going on.
Oh my goodness, you are busy, and I've brought out the. I do not bring the air horn out for just anyone. It's amazing, and for those of you that want to support 6 footer, she's on Cash App, and you know what? There are a lot of these wonderful platforms out there. This is a small way that you can send some love her way. It is it is a great time to be a creator. It is a great time to be a poet. And it is a great time to be you, 6-footer. David and Andrea, do you have a question, or quite frankly, it's just the four of us hanging out, as well. So if you don't have a question for 6-footer, maybe she has a question for you guys.
I've got one I'll throw out there. So I mean, you talk about channeling the voice of your mother is beautiful. I'm, along with all the fire, I hear some of that brimstone. I'm curious if there is some of that preaching that's inspired your delivery, or maybe just some of like how you compose poetry, because I just hear also some of that powerful sermon and preaching in that. And I'm curious if there was even anyone in particular, if faith's played a role for you at all, that might have influenced some of your own delivery or composition as you put all this together and put this out there.
I will say that my writing started because of Maya Angelou. Maya Angelou. My delivery is my pain. I have not picked it up from no one else. I honestly, I used to question myself when I used to do poetry, and when someone asked me, they said, I was trying to figure out why I was struggling with memorizing it. And they was like, well, I was like, because I'm able to remember songs really easy, pick them up, no problem. Other people's songs, they said, because you believe more in their work than you believe in yours. And when someone told me that, I said, So after that, it was just like, I went on the stage and I just honestly, I transform. I call myself Sasha when I go on stage, because my personality is really silly. I like to have fun and I like to smile as much as I possibly can. But on stage, it's a whole nother person that comes out, and I just pour out all my pain on the stage, because that's the one place where the rest of the world has to shut up and listen to what I say. And I get to leave my pain on the stage and come back out and be this loving person that likes to enjoy life and speak life into other people. So that's where the delivery comes from. It just comes from whatever I'm going through.
Thank you.
This was amazing. And you know what? As I said, this is my show. I can go late if I want to. But we're gonna regretfully, I'm gonna sign off in a few. I just want to say, 6-footer. I often say, not only is the door wide open for you to come back when you want, but it's ripped off the hinges. There is no door. There is no door. You don't need a key to come back. Anytime you want to promote something, anytime you want to practice some material, you have a home here. And I just want to thank you for coming in.
Thank you. This has been a pleasure. I love everyone's smiles. Your energy in itself, just even when I spoke to you earlier, you're amazing. I love this right here. And she just keeps smiling. Andrea, I love your smile.
I have so many questions for you. I'm going to take them off to the side.
Okay.
We'll talk later.
Yeah. So,
no problem.
So I'm going to let all of you guys go. We might hang out in the green room afterwards, because we still have some of those green M&Ms. The virtual M&Ms keep on replacing themselves. But I just want to say to everyone that tuned in, I think I showed you tonight that Joseph Jaffe is not famous because my previous guests, 6-footer the poet and Andrea Sullivan, and just the wonderful, beautiful David Berkowitz with an amazing heart, they are all very, very famous. Tomorrow, Dan Shorbel is my guest, and we also have another phenomenal creator, and you're just gonna have to tune in to see who it is and what their talent is. But we always leave you with the immortal words. Immortal. I think the guy's still alive. But Chuck Norris always gets to tell us what he thought of our guest today, and he generally is quite complimentary.
You are Chuck Norris approved.
See, I thought so. We'll be back tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching the show about hope, positivity, optimism, and if there's time left over, a little bit of marketing with your host, multiple author, and global keynote speaker, Joseph Jaffe. If you like the show, tell a friend or two. Please subscribe to the show, and if you want to get inside news, previews of upcoming guests, and much more, visit josephjaffe.com/subscribe to sign up for the show's newsletter.
And despite the best ministrations of your wife, you still look ugly.